don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was a debate that went down last night. The two leading presidential candidates, at least at this point in time, went down to Atlanta. The devil and Trump went down to Georgia, and they were looking for a couple of points to bat around, and Joe's mind was standing in line, and Trump was definitely looking to feed. It was definitely something. I know I watched it a couple of different times, and here I am just a shade past 3 in the morning in order to get this video out in a timely fashion, and I do these reviews for the people. But as I said, like, I watched it with commentary from a couple of different sources, and well, I know what I ended up coming to as a conclusion from the debate. I mean, perhaps I was just watching this wrong, late in the day. That is 100% something that could end up happening. Perhaps I missed a couple of things, because we got good old reliable Harry Sisson over here saying, holy crap, Biden just destroyed Trump. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for doing things to women in public, for having, banging a certain lady of the celluloid persuasion while your wife was pregnant? Damn. Biden 2024. Boom. Biden just called out Trump for being a convicted felon. The only convicted felon on the stage is Trump. Exactly. Never let the American people forget that Trump is a convicted felon and he breaks the law. Boom. Once again, this guy really likes his motive leads. But President Biden just called out Trump to his face for calling fallen soldiers, losers and suckers, and said, Trump, you're a sucker and you're a loser. Wow. Let's go Biden. I mean, keep that one in mind there for a second, because all of those things definitely happened during the debate. And well, like I said, perhaps I was watching this all very, very wrong, because we have Sally Cohn over here, used to be or still at MSNBC, not entirely sure, but I'm sure we'll get around to what they were talking about here by the end of this. But here's the problem. Trump is a divisive communicator, but decisive communicator, but lies. Funny word to stumble upon. But Biden tells the truth, but not as clearly as and assertively. Sorry, my recording software is just cutting off this very, very honest take of the situation. It's misinformation versus democracy, the entire challenge of our nation in one debate. Well, that's not quite as excited as Harry Sisson's take on things, but okay. Well, Mark Hamill, okay, died in the wall. Mark Hamill, he's ride or die with Obi-Wan Kenobi. One off night. Oh no, Luke, don't give up. Don't turn into Last Jedi Luke. You need to stay optimistic. Farm boy Luke. It doesn't change the fact that Joe Biden is the most legislatively successful POTUS of our lifetime. He is so legislatively successful, he even got his political opponents indicted. One off night doesn't change the fact that the former guy is a convicted felon, serial liar, and adjudicated rapist who is unfit for any office. Period. Well, okay, that's another take that you could definitely have, but you know what? Let's just do Biden's side of this, because we got clips. We got clips for days, folks, because instead of just me simply recapping an article, I would just rather you guys hear it from the people themselves. So the after party, after the debate, Joe and Bill, I just about forgot her name, because whenever I see her face, I just immediately think it's like, wow, Trash is a really good album, and I loved your cameo in Wayne's World. But you have Jill giving Joe a pat on the back for a job well done, and well, I can summarize this, or I could just let you guys listen in.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the...
Oh, he answered every question. What a high bar for the President of the United States.
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
Wanna rock? Okay, that's very interesting. But what about, okay, so Biden, before he ended up, at his old campaign stop there at the end to have a rally with what sounds to be about 6 people in the audience, he visited a Waffle House and says, oh, I think we did well, and this is hard to debate a lawyer.
Donald, can I just ask, do we have any audio here?
Trade-off.
$40 tip.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
See, I'm not pandering. I go to the local Waffle House in Atlanta. This is great, guys.
Mr. President, how did you perform tonight? I think we did well. Do you have any concerns, David Patrick, concern that you should out that you're not fit for the job?
Whatever.
Do you have any concerns
Let me
about your
just
performance?
smile and shuffle around. I hear the copyright music in the background. Don't necessarily want to get claimed. But even from the little snippet that I heard right there, Biden sounds a little bit more alive at 12:20 in the morning as opposed to when he was on stage, because, okay, guys, jokes aside, there wasn't really that much substance to these debates. Like I said, I watched them a couple of different times on 2x speed while I was editing other videos, and to be completely honest, there's, not much policy to be debated. And like Harry Sisson pointed out, oh my god, guy, oh my god, President Biden ran out the same tired talking points that he did in 2020. A lot of that debate was the same talking points and the same debate topics that were relevant in 2020. The COOF, war with foreign countries, how Trump can't be trusted, and then Biden having the audacity for a multiple time over. And for him to run that out as one of his first lines of attack, using the losers and suckers that even got debunked by, of all people, John Bolton. It was a poor performance, okay? That's the nicest way that I can put it. Jill can say that, oh, he was just lying. Joe can go ahead and try to run revisionist history. But brother, I can tell you who I think won the debate. But you know what? Because we're in a certain mood this time around, okay? Because we got clips on clips on clips. And, well, instead of me telling you who I think ended up winning the debate, might as well show you who I think ended up winning the debate, okay? So let's go ahead and let's just start with the meme that you guys have probably seen run around a couple of different times, because this right here is the because you'd be a jail moment.
Move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was one of the first things, okay? Because Biden went full on lockup mode, okay? It was absolutely atrocious. And that wasn't the only time, okay? Biden had, I lost count of the number of senior moments. It's kind of sitting funny on my head, but that's all right. Okay. Like, he locked up, he stumbled and staggered off of multiple answers. And hell, he even got interrupted by Dana Bash, just noting that he was getting to the end of the 2 minutes, which, you know what? Outside of the moderators kind of saving Biden a couple of different times, offering him the right to rebuttal that was never afforded to Trump on a couple of different occasions, they didn't cut anybody off. Trump was trying to add to a conversation that was being had between the moderators and Joe. That was about the only time that I seen any sort of communication not being put onto mic. So it was all things said. CNN held up their end of the bargain. But here's the thing. These were supposed to be the rules that were supposed to keep Trump on a leash, but in actuality, it just exposed how bad Joe Biden is, okay? And here's example number, just in the sake of this debate and the clips that I'm providing, this is number 2, but trust me, it was bad. Just listen to Joe from the moment that he took the podium. Somebody was reporting, and there was some credible sources that were circulating that, oh no, Joe has a cold, so that's why he sounds like death warmed over. But how do you explain the delay in processing power between the ears? How can you reconcile that?
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with.
Yo, man, Trump's facial expressions, by the way, what I was pointing out by the fact that, perhaps a CNN can go ahead and mute the mics. Okay, you give the guy who is one of the best nonverbal communicators in history the ability to take up half of the screen and mock the candidate. That's what Trump was doing the entire time. Whenever Biden would have a Biden moment, he would just look over and give him like one of these, is this guy retarded looks? And meanwhile, Joe, he would also reciprocate. And I think we probably got a couple of clips of him, doing his variation of, wow, is that guy real or is he made of cheese?
Do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President
What?
Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Yo, what the fuck? That's crazy, okay? Oh, you're trying to beat Medicaid. I gotta stop right now. Oh, wait, there's more. Because by the end of the debate, and like I said, I'm just kind of glossing over everything because, yeah, okay, border control is ass, okay? Biden has run everything into the ground. Let me just go ahead and lie about my accomplishments. It's like the American people obviously can tell if they're doing better than they were 5 years ago. Guess what? Spoiler, absolutely not. Unless you're Sally Cohn, Harry Sisson, or goofy-ass Luke Skywalker, you cannot, with a straight face, come across and say you're in a better spot than you are right now. Unless you're on the government tit, one of those 15,000 jobs that Joe Biden claimed to have made and didn't want to give any credence to the rebounding effect by just locking everybody out of their business, and then the moment that Biden shows up and has his stupid mandates thrown out. That was the one thing that I'll point out when it comes to Trump when they were talking about COVID. Okay, he wasn't trying to take credit for the vaccine at all whatsoever. He's really distanced himself from that, probably hearing from his audience and hearing from his base that, yeah, not exactly something that people are keen on. Okay, cool. But then, yeah, no, the way that he pivoted on that one was just simply laying the blame at Joe Biden for the mandates, which is a smart thing to do because, yeah, if you want to take the vaccine, totally within your capacity to make those decisions. Forcing people to do that, that's a totally different animal. So yeah, got to give Trump points at the beginning for that. And Trump, he maintained a very consistent tone. Yeah, he had the snarky remarks and the snarky asides that we've known to love and appreciate from Trump, but this was definitely, it was better than any performance that he had in 2020, beyond a shadow of a doubt, when too many people were in his ear that, oh, you need to go ahead and temper your message. This was a good mix between that controlled insanity of 2020 and the rambunctious memeability of 2016. It's different. I'm not hating it at all whatsoever. But yeah, this was towards the end of the debate when things just really started to become unraveled. Some of the drugs that didn't kick in for Biden were starting to wear off. And well, we'll just, if you're not reading the caption above, we'll just let her play out.
President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds.
Yeah, see, that's where the mic was cut off. But there's Joe. He's trying to quote when Trump was booked for his mugshot. Okay, had to give a height and he had to give a weight, and it was what 6'4", 215 or something like that. And everybody's like, "Come on, man!" It's like we know. But now that's being taken as, oh yeah, he's trying to call Trump fat, and it's like when I heard it, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see that's probably what Joe's doing. But well, where it went from there was it was something.
Oh, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, anyway, just take a look at what he says he is and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to...
Oh, Joe Biden, you shouldn't talk about handicaps, and I think that's probably what Trump is telling himself a really funny joke in his head at the moment.
6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. Yeah. But I have, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
Let's not act like children.
Yeah, let's just act like the oldest men possible, quivering over our handicaps and having a golf debate on probably one of the biggest live streams and one of the biggest shows that CNN is going to have all a goddamn season. But yeah, that was probably the most entertaining because in the aftermath, everybody could see what is patently obvious, even from just those small clips, is that even CNN viewers, people answering CNN polls, know Joe got cooked. And just to really drive it home, let's just watch this one, okay? This is what Trump put up after the fact on Truth Social, and here's that 95-second clip of Biden just really driving home the point that, yeah, he's not fit for this job.
Both sides. Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything
with the nursery music underneath. Oh, it's brutal.
We have to do with look.
Here's the deal.
We finally beat Medicare. We're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice the idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that
Trump's face. It's just
everybody,
like, what the
they
fuck
pay,
is this guy saying?
the millionaires pay 1%. 1%. So no one after, I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. and wants to get away with, get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
Yo, that was a minute and a half, and I didn't understand a word that goddamn goof had to say. And this is the third or fourth time outside of listening to the clips and getting them ready for this video. Did you guys get that? But that's going to be a Trump ad? Oh my God. Just play that on loop, okay? Ship that out to any network that'll have it. Just have it on repeat. Just have it as the bumper video for whatever campaign ad you put on the internet. That is... holy shit, man. And that really, okay, like it drives home the point that even, CNN, the pundits right after the debate were going, oh my God, this is abysmal. This is terrible. And even Joe had the goddamn questions, okay?
He goes through 6 days of preparation at Camp David.
More than that.
And they know the rules.
It was more than a week.
Okay, so more than a week. They know the rules. He practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions is coming.
Yeah, that's a CNN staple right there. Okay, dating back to 2016, leaking the questions to a certain campaign. Interesting.
Yet he couldn't fill the time. Now, I just want to, let's see what the White House is saying. Sources close to the White House are saying he had a cold, wasn't feeling well. I mean, as you would expect, that came out early on in the debate. But what accounts for someone with so much experience doing so much preparation and this being the outcome?
Honestly, I think the question answers itself. He wasn't capable of doing any better than he did.
Oh Lord, and that's an indictment in and of itself, okay? And we still got more CNN coverage, okay? A very aggressive panic at the Democratic Party, which if you were looking at the chyron of the clip, you'd note that that's definitely the sentiment running through.
There is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say, in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting.
Yeah, that was the one shot that we seen at the at the tail end of the 90-second clip from the Trump administration. It's like, still, yo, man.
Contrast between the two candidates. Let me be clear. None of them, and a lot of Republicans, don't think Donald Trump had a great night. Donald Trump broke the fact-check machine more than I can count. That right?
Yo, bro, like I said, I watched it. This was definitely more tempered Trump, but lies that he told, nothing really jumps off the page outside of he might have embellished one number, but that's just typical Trump, okay? And that might have just been, mistaken an 18 for an 8, and I can't remember specific which number that was, but no, it was mostly just hammering home on policy, and that's just going to be CNN trying to quibble on that one. But I also seen a clip of CNN running a very aggressive fact check against Biden, letting you know exactly what's going on, and if it wasn't abundantly clear, well.
I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can, but he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is
not really less than a month away.
Time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain for what we saw tonight.
It was really, okay, what you could see. Okay, where is that response right there? From what I can tell, and then just based on the simple demographics of the United States, that right there appears to be a white lash against Joe Biden, as far as I can tell. But don't worry, the panic is not just centered and not just contained within CNN. I mean, you got Joy Reid. Yes, that's Joy Reid and not Jim Brown getting into the hair bleach, and she got something to say.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped. But
Yo, these people sound like they're personally hurt. You're supposed to be the media. Oh man, there is a lot. And if you want to dig in deeper, and especially over this weekend, it's going to be very interesting with the number of calls, the number of movements, all the movers and shakers that are going to be out there. Because, okay, what we heard from, Van Jones, okay, people need to step aside. And then what's his nuts there? Is that, I forget his name specifically, but it really doesn't much matter. Talking gray hair, number 386 on CNN, okay. Other prominent Democrats, are they going to come forward? Well, here he is, Patrick Bateman himself, the used car salesman out of California, being asked, are you going to go public? Okay, are you going to replace, Joe Biden? And he is smiling ear to ear because this guy loves attention more than he loves ruthless power grabs. It's going to be very interesting because it's probably something that the Democratic Party is really going to have to think of over the weekend. Okay, what the hell do we do with Joe? Do we try to get him across the finish line? Do we try to get him to the next debate? And if he looks just absolutely haggard in early June, September 10th, right? September 10th is the next scheduled debate on ABC. And if he continues to look as degraded as he is, we're going to have to burn somebody else, because there's no way. Because what got brought up there is, damage down the card. Down ticket Democrats are going to end up getting a terrible knock-on effect because, hey, if your party's out there endorsing somebody that cannot finish a sentence, why should we vote for you? So instead of waiting to pounce on a much weaker ticket in 2028, are you going to burn Gavin Newsom right now? There's also calls for Gretchen Whitmer to come off the bench in Michigan, which heaven forbid that ends up happening. What about calling up Big Mike? What about Hillary Clinton? She's been being more public recently. It could be another round of DNC nominees coming out at this unprecedented time. It's like, no, we've seen Biden deteriorate in front of our eyes for a very long time. Or maybe we're going to see more active offense from the Democratic mouthpieces, from the media. It's just going to be 100% Trump attacks day in, day out, thinking that's what ended up winning the day in 2020, just continuing to try to drive his name in the mud. Perhaps it could end up being a bifurcated effort where you're going to have small but vocal contingent of Democrat operatives say that, hey, if Joe isn't up for it, this is ultimately going to have to be Joe's decision. We'll have this all figured out by the time the DNC in Chicago rolls around in July. We'll have it fixed by then. Don't worry about it. But hey, if there are some people that are out there that, could answer the call if Joe's not feeling up to it, okay, here's Gav, here's Gretchen. While at the same time, convicted felon, he's upfront charges, mishandled this, he overpromised that, he's a perpetual liar. I could see that happening at the same time, all the way up till and including, somebody taking a trip to a grassy knoll, okay, if you know what I'm saying. And no, I am not calling for that at all whatsoever. I'm just saying this right now, this went even worse than anybody could have anticipated. Biden looked atrocious. That was 1000% a train wreck. Trump did well. It's not his best debate performance. It's probably going to be one of the more memorable debate performances, but that was all down to Joe Biden being such a dumpster fire. It was tough, man. I just grabbed a couple of the highlights because this one's going to be combed over for a very long time. And brother, we have just entered the 2024 presidential election cycle. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.